What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Stella Ray Herself podcast. It's me, Stella Ray herself, and I'm actually recording this day of, so make sure you give me a thumbs up or screenshot this, share it on your IG story, tweet a screenshot to me, whatever, because I am very dedicated, and I don't know, I think I've talked about it before, but y'all know, like, the hot girl walk. It's kind of like this TikTok, not trend, but, like, I don't know, whoever made it up, it was on TikTok. And I feel like I have been doing that since, like, a teen. And I just remember specifically, like, senior year when I wanted so badly to move to LA. That was, like, you know, the vegan days. I was like, oh my God, I need to be in LA. But I would, like, kind of run/walk around my neighborhood. I've talked about this, like, so many times. But this is where it, like, originated. I remember it was, like, after What a Time to Be Alive came out. And I would just jog around my neighborhood listening to that. Just, like, looking back, I was basically, like, manifesting, but I would just be in this, like, zone of, you know, thinking about my goals, like, feeling motivated, feeling good, envisioning what my life would look like. And I kind of, like, had one of those moments when I went back home this past week. We were driving back from this little gathering, and it was kind of like a far drive, like almost 2 hours. I just felt that way. I was like, you know what? I kind of have this, like, vision again. Just not so much of, like, what my life is going to look like, but just kind of, like, the vibe. I don't know. Let me know if you can relate. But for me, it's always, like, usually listening to trap music. And I'm just, like, I really can get in my moment. Dude, it's weird. When I go back home, I get allergic, like, congested, like, runny nose, like, you know. I think there's actually something I'm allergic to in Washington, but here it's just, like, my nose gets so itchy, and I think it's just because it's so much more dry and, like, dusty. Also, I love keeping at least, like, 2 of my windows open just for airflow so it doesn't get stuffy, but then it's, like, the amount of dust that will be on the windowsill and probably literally everywhere. It's just like you want something with I vacuum and I dust, so apparently I need to do it more. But yeah, I was, like, so congested, and it's weird, this past year, like, the AC has just been triggering me so bad. Like, I just remember in my old apartment, I could sleep with the AC on, I would be fine. But in New York and here, I slept with the AC on just literally, I think both times it was, like, 2 nights in a row, and congested as fuck. Feeling, like, sick, but not, like, sick, like, allergic, you know, for, like, a week. I feel like I'm still getting over that, and then I don't think it helped that I was in Washington, like, allergic. It's just like, bro, don't be scaring me. Is this COVID? I mean, it's like I feel fine, but it's just, like, the congestion. So annoying. With that being said, get vaccinated, bitch, if you're not. Literally, so many of these new cases are from people who are not vaccinated. I think it's, like, 90%. Or maybe, I don't know if that's the overall statistic or from a specific place. But the thing is, people who are also vaccinated are still getting it. So just, like, do it. I think CNN or maybe it was MSNBC posted on Instagram this, like, thing of, like, you know, debunking all the main reasons why people say they don't want to get it. Bitch, like, I don't understand. I feel like so many of the arguments are just not reasonable, and, like, it's, like, proven more and more, I guess the pandemic has proven more and more, you know, which people only really care about themselves. Because ultimately, it's like, I do want to be good. Like, I don't want to get sick. Or, you know, if I do, I want the side effects, I want the effects of this virus to be a lot less severe, you know? But it also is, like, yeah, I don't want anyone else to be affected by this either, you know, like, let's minimize that. And I like going out. I like being social. I like being indoors with a group of people, you know? So why are we not working together? Like, I feel like it really, and it's funny because I just got my hair done yesterday, and I was talking with my hair, she was like, not like super obviously, but she was kind of like, oh, are you vaccinated? And I was like, bitch, yes. And then we just like had this whole rant together about like how annoying it is when people aren't vaccinated. But it's like, you know, when you kind of have to test the waters and like see if someone's on the same like vibe as you, like, so I'm sure she has people who are like, no, you would never, like, what did she say? But at first it was like, you know, people who didn't want to social distance, and then like, remember when masks, I mean, maybe you live somewhere where masks are not required still. But like, at least here, there was definitely a period of time where masks weren't like there wasn't a mask mandate yet. So it was kind of like, who's wearing a mask, who's not. You know, all the people that were still partying, especially in like the early days. And now it's like, you know, people don't want to get vaccinated, and it's like you don't want to do anything. You just think, first of all, it's like confusing because even if you are thinking only about yourself, it's like you're not concerned for yourself. Like you literally think that you're above, I was going to say above the law, above like your body. Like I don't get it. I just don't think or feel that way at all. So it's really hard for me to understand. But this guy was like, oh, and I know so many people think this. He was like, fuck a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. And then I was like, oh, are you vaccinated? And he was like, no. Oh my, like, fuck that. Like, you don't know what that's going to do to you long term. It's like, okay, but we do kind of know what COVID does to you long term. Like, also, it's like, do you not know how vaccines work? Like, if anything was going to happen, I think it would happen, what is it, in the first, like, 2 weeks of getting it, the vaccine? Anyway, it's just really annoying, dude. So just, like, get it. It's not scary. I got Moderna, the second dose. The next day, I just felt kind of tired, but not excessively even. Like, I even vlogged it. It doesn't hurt. It's not scary. Like, bitch, just do it and don't think about it. Like, especially in LA, cases are getting pretty bad again. Like, especially compared to how we were doing. So I'm like getting a little concerned. I knew shit got real when, you know, it's like my birthday weekend this weekend. I was going to go to this brunch party thing. And it's like a big event, so I guess it kind of makes sense now in retrospect. But they canceled it, or like, you know, postponed it. Bitch, it's fucking canceled. And then I was like, oh. Like, we had to start wearing our masks again, and I was like, okay, good. Like, I never really stopped wearing mine. Like, sometimes, you know, if I went out, I was drunk. Like, the mask would not be on all the time, okay? But, like, especially in day-to-day life, going to the grocery store or running errands, like, I kept that motherfucking mask on. Even walking through my apartment building without a mask always felt weird. Especially, like, in the elevator. I'm like, ew, there's stale air. Like, ew. But when that shit got canceled, I was like, oh, this shit's coming back. Like, I am a little concerned for the winter time. I did see something that was like, oh, experts say, you know, it's not going to be as bad as last winter because more people are vaccinated. But I'm thinking, like, so many people who are already vaccinated are still getting it. So that's not to say, oh, you're going to get it either way, so might as well not get vaccinated. Bitch, you should still get vaccinated because that could be, like, what determines if you live or die, literally, or, like, how severe your symptoms are, or, like, if you have to be hospitalized or not, or if you pass it on to somebody, you know? But it's still, like, like a little concerned. And now I'm like, okay, I wanted to do all this stuff. Like, I wanted to, I don't know, go back to New York, go somewhere else. Like, and now it's like, I don't really want to plan anything because it's like, shit, this is really our lives. Like, and it's like, I feel like the summer hasn't even started. I guess it has, but I don't know. I feel like I have like 3 memories this summer and then going to New York. This is so funny. But with that being said, I'm also kind of over the summer. Like, it's too hot all the time and I'm sick of the AC. Well, let me complain. All right. Yeah. They just honestly need to make everyone stay inside and just fucking give people money. Like, what the fuck? Why are you not doing that? It's just, ew, I don't even like thinking about it. It's like, this shit could have been under control. But no. People want to keep making money. Y'all saw the statistic, like, billionaires got this much richer, and then, like, regular people got this much poorer, and it was, like, the same amount. I was like, oh, I wonder where that money went. God, like, I'm over this shit. Like, seriously. And it's just that weird, constant, like, fear. But, like, low-key. Like, it's not like I'm actively stressing all the time, but I'm kind of back to, like, oh, my God. Yeah, with that being said, this is not really a fun topic, but I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's kind of related, and I guess I just wanted to know if anyone else related. Yeah. Should have used a different word. Bro, so I made a vlog called, like, talking about anxiety, or let's talk about anxiety. I guess people were not that interested in it, which is why I do the antic vlog. Do a lot better. But when I guess it's just interesting to realize that stuff affects you. Like, okay, so real talk hours. I had 2 flights to New York, and on the second flight, there was, like, some turbulence, and I just had this, like, overwhelming anxiety that I had not experienced in so long. I used to get really, really bad anxiety when I first started flying a lot, and bitch, shout out motherfucking Xanax, because I feel like that is what really saved me. And because I would, like, medicate myself, not severely, but just enough to, like, feel normal, you know, on these flights. Then I started associating being calm with getting on a plane. So for the past few years, bitch, if anything, maybe I'll take some CBD before, but I've been, like, fine. And I feel like for me, it's like, I don't know, when you look up, like, how to get over fear of flying, a lot of the articles are like, oh, if you're scared of heights, which I am scared of heights, but it was never really about heights for me. Oh, if you're scared of a plane crash, like, educate yourself on how safe planes are, and, like, blah, blah, blah. For me, I think it's just that feeling of, like, not being able to escape, which I talked about in my anxiety vlog, but, like, feeling stuck. And, like, if you've ever dealt with anxiety, panic attacks, whatever, like, I'm sure you relate. A big part of it is, like, you have anxiety because you have this fear of, like, experiencing a panic attack, or a fear. You have anxiety of having anxiety. Like, it's so uncomfortable and unpleasant, and like, it can be fucking terrifying too, you know? So that was kind of always my thing on, like, a plane. Like, I can't just leave or, like I'm stuck in the fucking air. It's already weird and kind of scary, and, like, yeah, I do have a fear of heights, but then, yeah. So, yeah, for the past few years, like, I've been so fine. And then, I don't know if it was, like, we had a little bit of turbulence, nothing crazy, but I just felt that, like, overwhelming sensation. So I was like, damn, do I need to, like, take a Xanax right now? So then, of course, you know, all the rest of the flights, or, again, I can't remember if that was the first or the second flight on the way there, but then we had 2 flights on the way back. The anxiety's back. That's great. And then when I went back home, I wasn't even thinking about it consciously in my brain, but, like, my body just had such this reaction. I swear to God, for a week before, the entire week before I left, I was just, like, stressing over having anxiety on the plane. And literally, bitch, it's just, like, I have not experienced that in so long. But, like, so I get to the airport, and it's crazy because if you saw my vlog, like, I'm just like, oh, having a great time, chilling. No, bitch. I mean, when I was there, it was fine, but, like, so I get to the airport, and my flight is, like, a little bit delayed, and I overestimated the amount of time it would take to get through security. I'm not the type of person to like need to be super early. I don't like to get there as we're boarding, but I like to get there with enough time to like fill up my water and pee before the flight comfortably and not be rushing. And then like, I'm not stressed about getting there 12 years early, especially if it's an airport I've been to before. You kind of know what to expect, especially if it's not like a holiday or anything. Anyway, it's weird because, again, if you have anxiety, you understand, but it's not like I'm consciously like thinking thoughts of like, I'm scared for this reason and this reason. Like, it's just kind of this body sensation of like, I don't know, uncomfortableness and like, I don't know, like my stomach hurts, my body feels numb and tingly, and like I'm sweating, my heart is racing for no fucking reason. And literally with everything in my body, I wanted to leave. I was gonna be like, fuck this trip, I'm not getting on that plane. I literally want to leave the airport right now, Uber back home, and get in my bed. Like, that's all I wanted to do. And I had like priority boarding, so of course they call my group first. And with everything in me, I did not want to go. And this is like with medication. Or I don't think I took one until I got on the plane. I'm like, bitch, thank God for that, because I don't even know. Anyway. I'm walking through the little tunnel. Again, I have not experienced this feeling in so long when it comes to, I mean, in general, but especially when it comes to like getting on a plane. I was like, this is fucking bizarre. And it's even more bizarre because this flight back home I've done, I don't even know how many times, like hundreds of times it feels like. Damn, my nose is itchy as fuck. And it's like a 2-hour flight. Like, it's nothing even crazy. No one was even sitting next to me. And I'm just like, oh my God, people are boarding. I'm like, literally my brain the whole time, I could still leave. I could still get off this plane. I could still leave. And I'm like telling myself, like, chill out. No, you have to do it. If you leave right now, it's going to be that much harder the next time. Like, you have to. And you have to see your family and like whatever. But literally my body was like, I don't care. I want to leave so bad. Like, I don't want to experience this. So it was fine. Thanks to my medication. Thank God for that. Seriously, thank God. But, and I had a drink. That was like in my vlog. I was like, let me cut this out because I don't want it to see, like, because in my vlog at the beginning when I'm like getting into the car, my mom asked me like, oh, so how was it? Because they knew that I was like scared. And I was like, well, after a Xanax and a vodka soda, I was fine. But like, even that, it's not like I was 100% fine. I was still just kind of like, I had to distract myself. I was like doing mad Sudoku puzzles and like just listening to the WizKid album over and over because it's just kind of like happy music, like easy listening. Yeah, I've never been able to sleep on planes unless it's like a, 10 hour flight. But yeah, it was just so bad. And I was like, just trying to think of like, okay, this is going, like, there's an end point, you need to like think about when the plane is descending, getting off of it, walking off, seeing your family, the relief that you'll feel. Like, it's like I know all the little tips and tricks, but it's like still my body has such this reaction, all the physical effects of like anxiety, that it's just so fucking uncomfortable. So then it's like, okay, it was fine. It was literally the smoothest flight ever. Again, there was nobody. There was like me, empty seat, this random guy. Everything was fine. It was literally completely fine. So I'm like, okay, so for the flight back home, I should be good. Bitch, I had more anxiety on the flight home. And I had a fucking row to myself. And I did the same thing. I had a drink on the plane. I never do that, especially on this flight, because it's such a quick flight. It's 2 hours. Like, it's so easy. And it's like just up, up the coast, down the coast. It's usually like very minimal turbulence. Like, usually none. Sometimes there'll be like a little bit for like 2 seconds and that's it. Yeah. So I don't know. It was just like really bad. But it's not like I ever like had a full-on anxiety attack or anything, but it's still just like constantly having to like just try to self-soothe. It's like exhausting. It's like, oh my god. Like, even thinking about it right now, I'm like, I literally don't want to fly the rest of the year. I'm like, I hope they put us back in lockdown so I don't have to take any trips. Because that was so bad. So that's just like so annoying. And I guess I share this because I think, you know, when it happened originally on that flight to New York, like a little bit of turbulence, whatever. It's not even like turbulence scares me. Like, okay, obviously if it was like really bad, like, yeah. But just a little like, I'm like, whatever. It's like just that, it's the mental thing for me. Like, I'm like, my heart's racing now thinking about it. But so I'm thinking like, okay, that was when I went on that trip, that was like literally the day, 2 days after I had just moved into my new spot. So, you know, if you've ever moved, you know the feeling of like, you're not 100% settled at first, you know, it still kind of feels like you're in an Airbnb, you're not completely comfortable, it doesn't really feel like home yet. And I mean, I'm sure that can affect anybody, but I know for me especially, I'm such like a homebody, and like I just really like to have my space. But just the Cancer Taurus placements. So there's that. And then also it was my first trip, you know, since COVID, besides going back home. And it's a longer flight. So I think it was just all of these things, all of these kind of like underlying things. It's not like moving was like the most stressful thing ever, you know? Or it's not like the flight was crazy, you know, before the anxiety. But just like all these underlying things of like being unsettled, not feeling like stable, you know, in my external life. And then, you know, just the past year of COVID and like just all the stress that's caused, even though it's like, oh yeah, I just have an antic, I'm having fun, all the stuff's open now. Yay. It's like all the past stuff's still like affecting. And then experiencing that anxiety internally just kind of like triggered it to happen again. You know, I feel like that's like a wound that I need to heal still. And it's like, it is always going to be in stressful, uncertain times that kind of old shit comes up, you know? So now I'm just trying to really like prioritize, I guess, self-care. I don't know. It's just hard. I ordered some ashwagandha supplements. I got an Apple Watch, so I've been tracking my heart rate. But yeah, like for me, I just always want to continue to have like self-awareness, and I'm scared of like, well, first of all, it's just like, this is a fucked up time that we're living in. But I just don't want to have to like turn to alcohol or whatever, you know, when I am feeling that way. So yeah, like 2 nights ago I could have gone out, but I was like, okay, I'm still kind of tired. Not that I really felt anxious, but I was like, okay, no, I need to like settle back in. It was like the night I got back or something. I was like, part of me wants to go like, yeah, back in the city, back on my, you know, single girl life, not being with my family or whatever. But I was like, you know, I just experienced a lot of anxiety earlier today. Let me stay in, go to sleep, not drink. I just don't want, you know, it's like, I don't want to mask the feeling. It's like, I want to face the feeling and overcome it and like get over it, you know? Yeah. And I have been trying to have less caffeine. Like, yeah, I got my ashwagandha, so I'm going to take that for like a month every day and just kind of see if it helps. I really also want to start going back to acupuncture, but I should just do it. But that's something too that like, I think I had anxiety a couple times doing that. It's just like, bro, it's so fucking annoying. Yeah, it's very situational though, because it's like if I'm just doing my everyday routine, I'm fine. So it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily crippling, but it's like crippling in certain situations. Let me know if you relate. But I do think that the pandemic brought a lot of that out. And especially like, I'm thinking honestly, spending so many months, weeks in the house by myself, like, not that it was hard for me to like re-socialize, but, just, being in an airport with a bunch of people, or like being on an airplane with a bunch of people. There was a couple of times in New York where, just walking, like in Soho, like, all the really tall buildings, a lot of people shopping, whatever. I kind of felt like, oh my God, like everything's so big. There's so many people. Like that was kind of, so I'm just trying to keep a lot of like self-awareness and like, okay, what can I do to try and relax? Because bitch, it's so fucking hard to relax when it's like deaths rising across the country and like I just like wanted to celebrate my birthday and have like a good birthday this year. But now it's like, can I? We'll fucking see. All I want for my birthday is like a good Instagram pic, because I haven't even posted on IG like this whole month. So we'll fucking see. Yeah, but I just share that. First of all, bitch, if you're feeling the same way or have felt similarly at all the past year and a half almost-ish, know that you're not alone. And, it's just kind of like, okay, what can we do to, like, help ourselves? Fuck. I also saw this TikTok. There's this, like, monk who's, like, on TikTok. Love him. Here we go. It's kind of, like, long-ish, but I think it's, like, worth all of us to listen to.
Remember that in your day, okay, that certain emotions and thoughts will arise. For example, sadness or thinking about the past or something like that, like depressive thoughts or anxious thoughts. Just remember that they're not going to last forever. As they arise, as they will soon cease. These are states of mind, and always be mindful of that these are states of mind that pops up once in a while. And don't let it ruin your day, right? You have power and control and jurisdiction over your mind, not the other way around. Okay, you mess with your mind, not your mind messing with you. So this is how we conquer our day, is that we know when our mind is tripping. All right, my students, they do that. They're like, wait a minute, is my mind tripping right now? Yeah. Well, a Buddha is one which knows, and you need to know when your mind is tripping and catch it. And that is the first step into thought stopping. Okay, that's how you conquer your day. Take care.
Like, love him. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that kind of ties into like a lot of things. What I'm talking about, or, feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and then like the emotions that can come after that, like feeling bad, or like, damn, am I doing like worse? Or like, damn, why am I not like happy and excited? Like because, it's so easy to get into that kind of thinking too. Like, I'm like, bitch, I'm literally on a flight to see my family, blessed. Everything's going smoothly. Like, what the fuck? I shouldn't be feeling bad. I shouldn't be feeling anxious. I shouldn't be feeling stressed out. This shouldn't be stressful. But it's like, okay, like, you're allowed to feel however you feel. I'm allowed to feel anxious, even though it might be uncomfortable, whatever. It's like, I don't need to make it, therefore, worse by, like, bullying myself about feeling that. And then that also kind of goes back into, like, what I've been kind of talking about recently, the fake positivity, the toxic positivity, and how, we so often do kind of bully ourselves for feeling however we feel, as humans, by telling ourselves things like, oh, let me just be grateful. I should be grateful. I should feel happy in this. I should be a little more enthusiastic about this. I shouldn't be this or that or however. So it all kind of ties together. I don't know if this is not necessarily toxic positivity. I've just been kind of trying to tell myself, like, nothing matters. Nothing matters. You know, like, I don't know if that's a healthy way of like thinking, but you know, when there's so much uncertainty and unknown, especially for how the rest of this year is gonna go, like, are we gonna go back into lockdown? Are we gonna be healthy? Are we gonna be safe? What the fuck is gonna happen? Well, I might as well fuck it. We ball while we can, you know, and like not crazy, not like, you know, balance, but like, well, let me have fun. Not crazy that way. No. I say that and then I'm like home watching Sopranos every day. Dude, also my friend from back home was like, wow, you really be out. Like, you really... It's like, not really. Like, I mean, maybe it looks like it recently. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on any of that, how you guys are feeling about, you know, the current COVID situation. Are you a little more stressed out? Like, a few months ago, it was like, yay, we can get the vaccine. Life is good. We're going to have a hot girl summer. And now it's just kind of like, summer's not hitting like how I thought it was going to hit. You know? It's just like, okay. And everyone's like annoying. Just like, I don't know. I wonder what changed there too. Usually, I used to be so excited to go out and like meet guys and like, you know, and now it's just like who am I gonna meet? Am I meeting my mans tonight? And now it's just like, ugh, I don't want to talk to any of you. Like, fucking annoying. Anyway, so I made a TikTok about this, and I need to remind myself to like make more TikToks. I say that fucking every podcast, every day. Oh, I put my notes on my phone. But basically, I saw a TikTok, and I wish I saved it, but it was a dude actually talking about like this idea of, he was like, ladies, like, watch out for when a dude talks about all this stuff in the future he wants to do with you or do for you or whatever, because a lot of the times they do that to distract you from like how shitty they're being to you currently. And that really hit home. Few people came to mind. Oh, right, they haven't done this or this, and they said right, but it's like not. My thing is like, I feel like this is, I don't know if overlooked would be the right word, but I feel like this is a red flag that can sometimes be hard to miss, because you have to really like be aware. And it's usually going to take like a couple times at least of someone saying like, oh, I'm going to buy you this, or I'm going to take you here. We're going to go on this trip together. We should do that. Oh, I want to take you to this restaurant. And it can even be like little things too. It's like, I feel like typically a pattern has to be formed before you catch it and like realize like, oh, they haven't even done any of this and they're actually like stringing me along and cheating on me or whatever. So yeah, and this is also something low key to watch out for in friendships, you know? Like, I just am realizing more and more. It's not really like a new realization, but you know, like, I feel like it's just becoming more and more important to me to keep people around me that like keep their word. And like, I have been trying to get better about that too. Like, I think I talked about in a recent vlog or podcast, I don't remember, the whole like fake plans. And like, if you say, oh, we should hang out sometime, girly, but you don't really mean it, or like you make a plan with someone and you hope it gets canceled, like, just don't even bring it up. If you don't want to actually hang out with someone or whatever, like, just don't ever even say that. Like, don't make the plan in the first place. Or if you do, like, okay, you said you were going to do something, so you have to do it, you know? I've just been trying to, like, keep myself to that a lot more. And then I think it's also interesting, you know, especially people who, like, tweet a lot, but people who just, like, put a lot of their business on social media, and maybe you followed them for a while or whatever, and it's, like, you can kind of start to notice, like, when they contradict themselves, or, like, I mean, a classic one, this everyone fucking does. Everyone who drinks and goes out says this at some point, but, you know, like, oh, I'm not drinking anymore. Or if, like, people say, oh, I'm not going to drink this month, and then, oh, I'm eating healthy only. I just always think of this one girl was like, white toes are so tacky, like, you're allowed to switch it up. And then, like, literally a couple weeks later, she tweeted, like, oh, I could only ever get white toes. Like, anything else I just don't like. But it's like, if you're switching your mind this much, or like saying, like, making these bold statements of, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm not going out anymore, or, like, and then literally the next day you're like, I don't know, it could be, like, maybe they're like that to themselves, but not necessarily the people in their life, but I just kind of always have, like, noticed that it's like, didn't they just post the opposite of that, or, like, I don't know, it's like, where's the consistency? So I just don't really, I think I really, like, value people who come through. Actions do speak louder than words, you know? And it just, I don't know, like, something I did notice in New York, I mean, it was only, like, a few people, but I feel like people were low-key, and this is, like, a really bold statement to make, but I just know, I've just experienced a lot of, like, really flaky people in LA. I don't know if it's an LA specific thing or, like, whatever, but I feel like low-key maybe just because, you know, shit is so far and spread out that sometimes it's like you just don't want to drive that far or go that far, so you flake. I don't know. I feel like people can be really flaky here. I'm just going to say it. Not everybody, obviously, but, like, when I was in New York, there was, like, a few times I was, like, I think it was one time we had, like, met these people, and then a few nights later we were like, oh, you guys should come out with us, and they were like, oh, we have to do this, but, like, I'll hit you up after. And to me, that was like, okay, they're probably not going to. Like, that's probably just, oh, they're going to be like, oh, it went over, we had to stay late, or, oh, we got caught up, like, or they're just not going to message me. But they, like, did exactly what they said they were going to do. They messaged me after, they linked up with us, and that was just, like, it was so subtle, but it was still, like, so, like, surprising almost. Or, like, it happened again another time. Someone was like, oh, like, I want to link with you. I was like, okay, we're going to be here. I didn't even say a specific, like, address or anything. I was like, we're by this place. We're not at this place, but if you put that in your GPS, like, we're by that. And they, like, came through. Like, it was, like, no questions asked, no uncertainty. Like, it was like, damn, I wish all my fucking interactions could be like this, because so often they're not. Like, it's like, oh, well, maybe, like, people always, not always. And at this point, it's kind of like, if you're like that, I don't want to make plans with you. I don't want to hang out with you. But so often it's like, oh, they might, like, it's like, oh, they might not, like, And I just hate that, like, especially as someone who is very much a planner, and, like, I like to know how things are going to go, or, like, what time are you going to be here? I'm not a spur of the moment type of gal unless it's an antic and we're already out. Like, as long as the first plan is established of we're going to be here at this time and this is what I need to wear and this is the vibe to expect, then we can have a free for all after that, but I at least need the initial thing to be a thing, you know? It's like, it's okay to be a spur of the moment person if, like, you do what you say you're gonna do. Like, I feel like you can be, what's the actual word? Whatever. You can be spur of the moment and still, like, not be flaky, you know? So many people are just so flaky. I hate it. Like, bro, I hate it. Just don't say you're gonna do something or be here or see me or I don't know, whatever, if you don't actually plan on doing that. And if you don't know within yourself, am I actually going to do that? Just don't even say it. Because maybe, you know, not everyone does have, like, a bad intention of, like, oh, I'm going to, like, say that I'm going to do this and not do it. Like, just keep her on her toes. Like, maybe you just need to get in the habit of, like, thinking before you speak. And, like, if you're promising something or, like, even just making some kind of statement or claim, like, just don't. Until you know for sure. Oh, God. Anyway, so look out for that. Yeah. And this is, I mean, obviously it's like, I know actions speak louder than words, but something about that guy's specific TikTok, like, it just really made me reflect, and I just thought of, like, all the times that's happened, and, like, oh, yeah, this guy said that we were going to do this guy said this, that, and, like, never ended up happening. Interesting. Like, where are the nice, wholesome, not even the wholesome bros, like, where are the wholesome people that just, like, you know, stay true to their word? But, ultimately, like, you can't really, I mean, it's fine if you feel resentment, but, like, ultimately, what we have to do to, like, avoid that or not have that in our lives is to practice it ourselves, and then to set boundaries and, like, not tolerate that kind of behavior, you know? Like, if someone is so flaky to you all the time, like, it's up to you. Like, are you going to say something to them? Are you going to, it's like, depending on what it is, sometimes you need to bring it up and be like, that's not cool, I don't like that. If they continue to do it, it's up to you to, like, kick them out of your life, okay? Or create distance or whatever. So, take back your power, baby. I've been asking myself that a lot too, because I just, it's like, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and whatnot, you know, if you're naturally, like, it's hard for you to speak up or set a boundary or whatever, which I feel like for a lot of people it is. It's, like, so easy to then just, like, hold resentment because you're like, oh, I feel like this person knows what they're doing is bothering me and they're still doing it or whatever. But it's like, okay, you still have control and power, your own power in the situation. Like, you can either bring it up to them or you just have to let it go and not, you know, just be nice or whatever. Like, you can't, don't pretend like everything is fine and, like, hold this resentment when it's not fine. So, you know, feeling resentment or any kind of feeling like that is a good indicator of, like, what do I need to do? Like, which of my needs are not being met? Do I need to speak up for myself? Do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to tell this person to fuck off? Do I need to fight? Do I need to leave? Do I need to go home right now? You know, our emotions are good tools. They're not necessarily the truth. They're not necessarily reality, but they can give us a good indicator of, like, how we're reacting to the situation. You know what I mean? But you know that, bitch. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I'm getting my nails done today. Thank God. Birthday. I don't even hate birthdays like that, but, like, something about it is just not even bringing me down, but just, like, stressing me out. But please pray that I get my good birthday IG. That's, like, all I care about. I just, like, want to see who's going to message me happy birthday and who's not. Anyway, love you guys so much, and I will talk to you next week.